GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, I'm Jordan Parker. A man was shot near Bloor and Dovercourt early this morning, and Environment Canada just issued a heavy rain warning for the GTA, so keep an eye on the skies. Traffic's moving moderate despite lane closures. Over to you, Nathan.
Cirque du Soleil's Lucia returns to Toronto, performing at the Royal Alexandra Theatre from Thursday through Sunday, with evening shows at 7 p.m. and a matinee Saturday at 2 p.m.
Tickets for Lucia are available online and at the box office, with prices ranging from $60 to $150 and a limited number of discounted student seats.
The production features a blend of aerial acrobatics, live music, and vibrant visuals inspired by Mexican culture, and runs for 90 minutes per performance.
That's the highlight for this weekend, and we have plenty more exciting updates to cover, so let's get started with today's news. Good morning, Toronto.
A man was shot just after 5 a.m. near Bloor and Dovercourt in Dovercourt Village, prompting a police investigation and a response from emergency crews and paramedics. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Police arrived at the intersection of Bloor and Dovercourt just after 5 a.m., responding to reports of gunfire in the Dovercourt Village area. Officers found a single man lying on the sidewalk outside a nearby building, clutching a wound to his torso. Paramedics rushed him to a local hospital, while emergency crews secured the scene. Witnesses reported hearing several shots and seeing a dark sedan flee the scene. Bloor traffic was briefly rerouted as officers established a perimeter. Detectives are now canvassing the neighborhood and reviewing surveillance footage as part of a criminal investigation. No arrests have been made, and police have asked anyone with additional information to come forward. The area remains cordoned off as investigators continue their work. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Dovercourt Village.
WestJet cabin crew have launched a strike at Toronto Pearson, grounding flights and canceling departures today. The labor dispute continues to disrupt travel across the city. Dev Showry has the full story.
At Toronto Pearson International Airport, flights scheduled for today have been pulled from the schedule after WestJet cabin crew walked off the job. The strike, which began early this morning, forced the airline to cancel all departures from the hub, leaving passengers stranded in the terminal. Officials said the walkout is part of a broader labor dispute between WestJet and its cabin crew union, with negotiations still ongoing. Airport staff are working to rebook affected travelers while security continues to process the reduced flow of passengers. No further cancellations have been announced for other carriers at this time. Travelers are advised to check with WestJet for updates on rebooking and refunds. Dev Showry, GMNA News, Pearson.
Ontario is moving forward with small modular reactors that will rely on imported uranium enrichment and fuel fabrication, a departure from the province's historic use of domestically produced CANDU technology. Dev Showry has the full story.
Ontario has begun construction on its first small modular reactor at a site near Port Hope, joining a slate of provincial initiatives that will rely on uranium enrichment and fuel fabrication services sourced abroad. The federal and provincial governments signed agreements this week to secure the imported fuel supply chain, a departure from the historically domestic CANDU program that used Canadian-produced uranium. Officials say the SMR projects are slated to start generating power by the early 30s, with an expected combined capacity of several hundred megawatts across the participating provinces. Funding for the Ontario plant includes contributions from both provincial and federal budgets, while other provinces are drafting similar financing plans. Dev Showry, GMNA News, Toronto.
Environment Canada has issued a special weather statement warning of heavy rain and thunderstorms across the Greater Toronto Area this Sunday, urging residents to stay alert and prepare for potential flooding. Tobias Kwan has the full story.
Rain is already pounding the streets as clouds thicken over the city. Environment Canada just released a special weather statement warning that heavy rain and thunderstorms are expected to move across the greater Toronto area this afternoon and into the evening. Meteorologists say rainfall could intensify quickly, bringing downpours that may flash flood low-lying roads and create brief hail. Residents are being advised to secure outdoor items and avoid non-essential travel where possible. The storm system is tracking eastward, with the most intense activity projected for the central and eastern parts of Toronto, including the waterfront and nearby neighborhoods. Keep an eye on local alerts as conditions develop. Tobias Kwan, GMNA News, Scarborough. Toronto welcomes the Women's National Bank Open on August 1st, marking the city's first time hosting the women's draw of the annual tennis event. The competition is underway. Dev Showri has the full story.
Women's draw of the National Bank Open kicked off today on August 1st, with the first matches already underway on the hard courts of the city. Toronto is hosting the women's side for the first time, swapping venues with the men's event as part of the tournament's rotating schedule. Local fans packed the stands, cheering as Spain's Mercedes Gastonbid opened her campaign with a straight-set win. CBC Toronto's cameras followed the action, highlighting the energy of the crowd and the crisp summer weather. Organizers said the switch brings fresh excitement to Ontario's tennis community, and the week promises more high-stakes matches as the field narrows. The prize purse this year tops $50,000 and early round upsets are already shaping the draw. Dev Showri, GMNA News, Toronto.
Later, we'll hear from Toronto doctors warning about a surge in serious e-scooter injuries to children, plus more updates. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Good morning, Toronto. Sick Kids Hospital doctors report a rapid increase in serious e-scooter injuries among Toronto children, with many requiring surgery, intensive care, or rehabilitation. The trend raises concern among health officials. Dev Showri has the full story.
Doctors at Sick Kids Hospital are sounding the alarm after a rapid surge in serious e-scooter injuries among children. In the past few months, the pediatric trauma unit has seen a noticeable climb in youngsters arriving with broken bones, head wounds, and internal injuries after riding electric scooters. Many of those cases have required immediate surgery, followed by stays in intensive care, and now face weeks of rehabilitation. Clinicians say the injuries are more severe than typical playground falls, with some kids needing multiple procedures to repair damage. The hospital's pediatric safety team is urging parents to supervise scooter use and to enforce helmet rules as the city's e-scooter traffic continues to grow. Dev Showri, GMNA News, Toronto.
Thousands gathered along Toronto's waterfront for the annual Caribbean Carnival Grand Parade, showcasing music, costumes, and traditions in a vibrant celebration of Caribbean culture and independence. Dev Showri has the full story.
Vibrant drums and steel pan melodies filled the air as thousands streamed onto Toronto's waterfront for the annual Caribbean Carnival Grand Parade. Brightly feathered costumes and flowing fabrics turned the promenade into a moving kaleidoscope of color, while dancers and marching bands traced the route from the Harbourfront Centre toward the lakefront promenade. Spectators lined the streets, waving flags and sharing smiles, as the celebration honored Caribbean heritage and marks the region's independence milestones. The parade, a fixture on the city's summer calendar, showcased a blend of traditional rhythms and contemporary beats, drawing families and tourists alike into a day of music, food stalls, and cultural pride. Reporting live from Harbourfront, Dev Showri, GMNA News, Harbourfront.
Transit timetables are adjusted, several streets close for festivals, and many retailers shift hours as Simcoe Day creates a 3-day holiday from August 1st through 3rd, 2026. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Transit riders will see altered schedules from the start of the long weekend through Monday. The TTC is running a reduced weekday service on Saturday, followed by a weekend plan that cuts several routes after midnight and eliminates late-night service on the Yonge line. On Sunday, a special holiday timetable adds extra streetcars on the 512 and 504 routes to accommodate crowds at the beaches and the Canadian National Exhibition grounds. Meanwhile, city officials have closed Dundas Street between Yonge and College for the annual street festival, and St. Lawrence Market will remain shut on Monday. Retailers along Bloor Street are trimming hours, opening at 10 a.m. on Saturday and closing at 5 p.m. on Monday. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Downtown.
Ontario's municipal nomination deadline arrives in 3 weeks, with researchers and civic groups watching to see if candidate numbers can rebound after a steady decline. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
The municipal nomination window shuts down in 3 weeks, with the deadline set for late August across Ontario. Researchers and civic groups are tracking the filing of papers, hoping the final tally will show an uptick after years of shrinking candidate pools. Over recent election cycles, the province has recorded a steady slide in the number of individuals stepping forward for city council, mayoral, and school board seats. Officials say the upcoming close will provide data to gauge whether outreach efforts are making a dent in that long-term decline. As the clock winds down, wards from small towns to larger urban centers are seeing fresh names appear on the ballot lists. Voter registrars are also reviewing the filings as they come in. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Toronto.
Toronto's Caribbean Carnival returns this weekend with a grand parade and downtown road closures, while police deploy extra officers after a recent festival shooting. Dev Showri has the full story.
Roads along King Street, Spadina and Bathurst are closed this weekend as the city rolls out the Caribbean Carnival Grand Parade. Hundreds of revelers will flood the downtown core on August 1st and August 2nd, marching to steel drums in colorful costumes. Police have deployed extra officers along the route, setting up checkpoints and crowd control stations to keep streets safe. The heightened security follows a fatal shooting at another cultural festival weeks ago, prompting authorities to boost their presence. Transit agencies have issued advisories, urging riders to seek alternate routes or use subway stations away from the parade corridor. Medical teams will be stationed at key intersections for rapid assistance. Dev Showri, GMNA News, Toronto.
Now let's turn to your afternoon forecast and see what the skies have in store.
A deepening low-pressure system steered by a swift southwest jet is loading the afternoon with rain. On this date, the all-time high for Toronto stands at 33.7 degrees Celsius, set during the 2007 heat wave that pushed temperatures across the province into the 40s. The all-time low is 14.3 degrees Celsius, recorded in 2021 when an unseasonal cold snap plunged the city into early summer frost. Normal August highs hover around 26 degrees Celsius and lows near 16, so today sits well below those averages. The contrast underscores how a passing low-pressure system can pull temperatures sharply down from typical summer warmth. The live radar shows a broad band of rain moving eastward across southern Ontario. Echoes are stretching from the Niagara frontier toward the Greater Toronto Area, advancing at roughly 15 kilometers per hour. The core will brush the city around noon, intensify through mid-afternoon, and peak near 5 p.m. Light rain should linger until about 7 p.m., after which the strip clears and the sky dries. At noon, the city sits under a thick overcast veil, temperature 21 degrees Celsius, humidity 91%, and a north wind 19 kilometers per hour. A low-pressure system is falling, and a southwest jet stream racing at 128 kilometers per hour is dragging moist air aloft, setting the stage for steady rain through the afternoon. Temperatures will climb to a high of 23 degrees before slipping back to a low of 18 after sunset. UV index 4 reflects modest solar strength behind the clouds. Wind will shift to the south, reaching a maximum of 23 kilometers per hour, but stays below the alert threshold. A series of special weather statements are in effect for the Greater Toronto Region, so remain aware of any rapid changes. Monday opens with clear skies and a high of 24 degrees, dropping to a low of 14 as night settles. Tuesday remains bright, matching Monday's high of 24 while the low nudges down to 13, giving a crisp early evening feel. Wednesday brings a foggy morning that will lift by midday, with temperatures rising to a high of 25 and a low of 16, hinting at lingering moisture. Thursday sees the cloud cover return, overcast with a 25% chance of rain. Highs stay at 25 and lows climb to 17. Friday finishes the stretch with another clear day, high 24 and low 17, offering a dry weekend start. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic's moderate with lane closures, the Blue Jays dominate, and tonight's lineup features the Beatles' #1 hits. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Eastbound Express on Highway 401 is the biggest holdup this morning. All lanes are closed between Meadowvale Road and Port Union Road, and again between Morningside Avenue and Meadowvale Road, backing up traffic. Drivers should look to Highway 409 as an alternate. Highway 409 has an alternating lane closed eastbound between Highway 427 and Highway 401, and the same restriction westbound. Highway 427 northbound runs alternating lane closures between Burnhamthorpe Road and Burnhamthorpe Road, and between Browns Line and Finch Avenue. On Highway 401 eastbound, a right lane is shut between Kipling Avenue and Highway 409, and a single lane is out between Port Union Road and Whites Road in Pickering. Lake Shore Boulevard West is closed from Fort York Boulevard to Colborne Lodge Drive for the carnival. In transit, TTC Line 3 is out of service between Kennedy and McCowan, with shuttle buses running, and GO's Kitchener Line reports morning delays. Expect slower speeds and longer travel times.
Toronto Blue Jays take on St. Louis Cardinals at the Rogers Centre this afternoon, a chance to catch live baseball action and cheer the home team before the night caps off. Next, the Beatles' #1 hits lights up the Princess of Wales Theatre, delivering the iconic songs that still shape pop culture, perfect for a nostalgic escape. Under the big top, Cirque du Soleil presents Lucia, a Toronto-themed spectacle that blends aerial artistry with local stories, a must-see for families and thrill-seekers alike. And the city's Caribbean heartbeat continues with the Caravana Grand Parade winding through streets now, offering vibrant music, dance, and color for anyone craving a summer festival vibe. Looking ahead, the National Bank Open Women's Draw opens tomorrow at Sobeys Stadium, promising world-class tennis as the city gears up for more summer sport. Keep an eye on High Heels and Soca this weekend for a carnival-style dance party. And now here's Marcus with sports.
Pitching moves, clutch wins, and a heartfelt farewell shape Toronto's baseball outlook. Los Angeles snapped up Tarek Skubal in a blockbuster deal, instantly reshaping the free agent landscape for Toronto. With the deadline looming, General Manager Ross Atkins now must prioritize offers on Kevin Gausman and Max Scherzer, weighing long-term stability against immediate impact as the rotation teeters. Toronto's offense erupted as George Springer delivered 2 hits and 2 RBIs, while Alejandro Kirk added a late-game single that drove in 2 more. Combined with Kevin Gausman's work into the 6th inning and 4 strikeouts, the Blue Jays secured a convincing 5-1 victory over St. Louis. The crowd rose for a standing ovation as Kevin Gausman tapped his heart before heading to the dugout, a gesture that hinted this could be his final start in a Blue Jays uniform. The emotional send-off underscores his value and may influence any last-minute trade discussions before the deadline.
Ramp, now in Toronto's financial district, is stepping up its game for local entrepreneurs. The US-based finance platform has officially launched in Canada, bringing CAD and USD cards, streamlined bill payments, tax automation, and integrated accounting workflows to homegrown businesses. Today, the company opened a sleek new office on King Street and is hiring a Canadian team to support customers from coast to coast. That expansion means faster, more flexible cash flow tools for startups and scaling firms right here in the city, cutting the friction of cross-border finance. For Toronto, a hub of tech talent, having a fintech that speaks our language and our dollars fuels growth and keeps our innovators competitive on the global stage. Up next, Toronto police are hunting a man accused of an elaborate fortune teller scam, so stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From city hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on gmna for the local Sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
The National Bank Open is swinging into Toronto as thousands of fans and the world's top tennis stars gather at Sobeys Stadium on Exhibition Place. Excitement is building for the opening matches and the energy is electric. Fans are already lining up for tickets and the first serve. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. The summer sun bounces off the glossy courts of Sobeys Stadium, and the roar of thousands of fans fills Exhibition Place. Bright banners flutter, and the scent of popcorn mixes with fresh-cut grass as the 2026 National Bank Open kicks off today, August 1. Qualifying matches spill onto the outer courts where up-and-coming talent battles for a spot in the main draw. I can see Arina Sablenka stretching before a warm-up serve, Coco Gauff chatting with a group of young fans, and Madison Keys signing autographs beside a pop-up tennis clinic. Local heroes Leila Annie Fernandez and Bianca Andreescu lead a high-energy fan zone, coaching kids on footwork and sharing stories of their own breakthroughs. The energy is electric, a reminder that sport can turn strangers into a community, cheering every rally as if it were their own. Main draw action begins tomorrow, August 2, promising more world-class tennis under these bright Toronto skies. Carl Dumont virtually at Sobeys Stadium.
Good morning, Toronto. Toronto police are searching for a man accused of operating an elaborate fortune-telling scam that used ritualistic claims to defraud several victims. The investigation follows multiple complaints of fraudulent spiritual services. Simone Okonkwo has the full story.
Police are combing the city for a man accused of operating a sophisticated fortune-telling racket that relied on staged rituals and ominous predictions to swindle clients. Officers say the suspect presented himself as a spiritual guide, charging fees for elaborate readings that included candles, crystal balls, and threats of curses, unless victims paid for extra services. The investigation began after a wave of complaints surfaced in late July, with several individuals reporting loss of money after being convinced to purchase protective charms and costly follow-up sessions. Detectives are reviewing surveillance footage and interviewing those who say they were lured into the scheme, urging anyone with information to come forward. Simone Okonkwo, GMNA News, Kensington Market.
Toronto Police Service unveiled a weekend safety plan for the Caribbean Carnival, adding extra patrols and drone surveillance to protect crowds on August 1-2, 2026. Simone Okonkwo has the full story.
Police have rolled out an operational plan for the weekend Caribbean Carnival, deploying extra uniformed patrols along the parade route and surrounding streets. Officers will be positioned at key entrances, ticket booths, and high traffic corners to monitor crowd movement. In addition, unmanned aerial vehicles will fly over the festivities, providing real-time footage to command staff. The strategy also calls for a dedicated communications hub to coordinate traffic control, medical response, and any public safety alerts. Organizers expect the two-day celebration, this August 1-2, to proceed smoothly, with the police focus on preventing incidents rather than reacting to them. The presence of visible patrols and drones aims to give participants and spectators a sense of security throughout the event. Simone Okonkwo, GMNA News, Toronto.
Thank you, Toronto, for joining us on the lunch break. It was great to hear from the community garden volunteers who are turning vacant lots into thriving green spaces. We appreciate your curiosity and conversation. I'm Jordan Parker, and I'll see you tomorrow for another bite of the city's stories.